Good afternoon and welcome to my late January 2022 team review. This video was originally scheduled for, I want to say, early Feb, but I thought, I felt like just making a video a bit earlier than before. So yeah, this is it. So we'll start with Jake Lloyd, D1. I expect him to have more total points than Aaron Hall, but I expect Aaron Hall to have the higher average because I just don't see him playing the full season out. I feel like they'll probably try and rest him at some stage. Look, I could be wrong. He could play the whole season, with Aaron Hall, and he may outscore Jake Lloyd quite comfortably if he continues on his role as what he had last year. Yeah, look, I don't think you can go too bad with either. I suppose if you had to cut one, you'd probably cut Lloyd. I think Hall, just that raw scoring power is just too high to just avoid entirely. So yeah, I would suggest probably getting both, but you do you. Next up, Jack Crisp, as once again the name of the channel suggests, he is an absolute lock. My favourite player for a long time, and I've got, just quickly I'll show you, I did this myself, just Jack Crisp CBA's average in games for 2021. I'll just go to the quick takeaways, is that Crisp needs either minimal CBAs, which is 0 to 19% for a 113.8 average, or he needs a whole lot of CBAs, which is like 20 plus. He averaged 94.7 the 20 to 39% CBAs, and then it's 102, 97, 97, 107 for those other games. So you want to see him either getting 40% plus or 19% or lower, which I think he'll do, because there was a match sim, and I believe I saw some information that Crisp was like the starting midfielder for Team 2. I think he was on the same team as Finn Mcrae, I believe. I don't think I saw Dacos's name, so I don't know what happened there, but yeah, the coach seems to like him in the mid, and I just like him whether he's playing back or mid or forward or whatever. I'll still pick him. I love him. Great bloke. So I'll move on. Whitfield. Now, why have I gone Whitfield and I've scrapped Jaden Short? Well, one for price, so I'll bank about 30k. But two, I think Whitfield's raw scoring is going to be higher than Jaden Short. I still back Short over Ridley, but I think Whitfield overtakes Short. I don't expect him to play 22 games. I think he just gets those weird ass injuries where he's just out for a while, or even like a week or so, just for some weird ass injury. But when he does play and he plays a full game uninjured, he's got 120 plus written all over him, and we all know that. That's why we pick Whitfield, even though we I guess has that risk with him. So look, I've got him in at the meantime. It does help with that price, so yeah, I'll keep him in for now, but if not, I'll find a way to get Short in. But speaking about Short, I do have, I think it's Tom Brown. Yeah, Tom Brown. I've read a bit of information that Brown has been training like at full for the Tigers, and that he's very likely to play early games. He was ahead of Gibcus, Josh Gibcus, I think his name is, because Gibcus was recovering or is doing like some sort of rehab group. But Tom Brown was training from like start to finish, and I think it was Vloston. Could be wrong, but I think he said something about Tom Brown and Gibcus. They should both play early. And so I just thought to myself, well, I could have Jaden Short, or I could have a playing rookie in Tom Brown. I don't particularly like having two people from the same teams in the defence line as starting picks. It's just something that I do. You may think different. You might want Jaden Short and Tom Brown, so be it. Go for it. Highly encourage it. But it's not for me. And Sin's in here. He's, as far as I'm aware of, the most likely high-priced rookie to be playing. I mean, there's only a few teams that I've seen just from others that don't have Josh Sin, and so be it, But I've got him in here, and if I need to downgrade him, then yeah, well, that's no problem at all. On the bench, just got Driscoll and Charlie Dean, who I'm hoping both get a game. Now for the midfield, we got Jack Mcrae, premier scoring. Look, he will lose cash. Like he will. It's not even like a 99.9%. Like it is 100%. He will lose cash. His average should go down a bit. I'm thinking, or I know it will happen, but not by a lot. I don't think so. I think he'll still be top 3 at the worst. So I suppose you can pass on him, but it's like, well, you got to pick him up later. At, I want to guess, 650 at the absolute worst if you time it perfectly and have the money for it. Or you could just start him at 700k, which I have thought about, passing on him, but just with how everything's worked out, I've found a way to just get him in at that 700k price. Yeah, look, I think he plays like 7 out of like the first 10 games on a Friday or a Thursday or something stupid. So you'll get your easy VC option, and then you get your 125 plus and loop it, done. So I would highly suggest Mcrae. Jack Steele, obviously he's a watch. You need Rowan Marshall to play, just based off that statistic that I said in the last video. Something like 130 plus if Rowan Marshall does play, and 119 if he doesn't. So Steele's definitely one that I can look at to downgrade if Rowan Marshall is not coming to play in the first month or so. Definitely someone you can pick up later on. I don't have too many downsides to him yet. He appears to be a solid pick and someone who may increase on where he's at early on. Because I think, what was his first game against West Coast? I think he'll be fine against West Coast. I expect like probably a 130, 140 from him, and so on for the first month. So I think he's definitely worth it. But yeah, you can pass on him. Like, if you don't reckon he'll get there, he won't maintain his price, and so be it. Lockie Neal. I originally did have Titch in here, but I thought, well, Lockie Neal's cheaper, and it just seemed to fit my structure a bit better if I did that. No knock on Titch, I'm a Hawthorn supporter. I fully expect him to be probably a 125 average. I expect Titch to probably make a little bit of cash early on. Last time he had a full pre-season, maybe wrong, but if I remember correctly, he won the Brownlow that year. Same thing can be said for Lockie Neal. And I just thought, well, I'm tossing up, about 90k difference between the two, and I can make use of that 90k, I think. So I'm going with Neal at the moment. But yeah, any sort of like niggle or injury or whatever, he's gone straight to Titch, 100%. You definitely start all 5 if you want, but as you can see in the forward line here, there's going to be, we got Mitch Duncan there, but yeah, we'll get to him in a sec. Next up, Finn Mcrae, put on size. He appears to be, as I said earlier, training in the midfield. He was on the same team as Crisp in the match sim. I didn't see Dacos at all, so that's something that I'm going to just start with, if need be. I see no downside. Look, let's say it doesn't start round 1, you just downgrade him. It's easy, straightforward. So I've got him in for now. If you don't have him, that's alright, no worries at all. Nick Dacos, he appears to be training very well, but he wasn't starting mid in that match sim. Is it a worry? Perhaps. Depends on who you ask. But as you're the top draft pick and you're not starting in the midfield in a match sim, probably just gets the ears up a bit. Just have just gotta wait and see. But I've still got him. You can just downgrade him if he's not starting, and so be it. Josh Ward, I've heard nothing but great things about him so far from Hawthorn. He looks to be the most likely starting pick. He is 180k, but like I said, he should just start in that midfield round one. So I'm going to have him. If he doesn't, obviously easy downgrade. So as you can see, I've started with like the higher priced midfielders, but if I need to downgrade, so be it. Greg Clark, mature ager for West Coast. Heard he's been training the midfield, which is fantastic. And 117k. I mean, you just take it. 100%. Like, what more do you want? Midfielder training in the midfield for that cheap price. I expect him to start round one. Depending on how rookies are come round one, he'll at the very worst be at the top of the bench. But I do hope to start him at some point. Well, sorry, I do have to start him come round one at the start. So yeah, then we've got Goda, Roberts, and my loophole at Warner on the bench here. I swapped in for Driscoll. I do feel like just with these forwards and back rookies, it's going to be limited. So I'd rather put the loophole in a position where we have the most options, just so I don't sort of fall behind in that area, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't, but probably explain that poorly. But I think Warner's probably better in the midfield than the back line, just so I can get those playing back men. So yeah, Darcy and Grundy, both still solid picks. I have heard, I haven't read anything about it, but just off someone's, a few people's words, that Darcy has been training a bit sore with his knee. I think he's got strapping or some like tape back on his knee. Sorry, that is a worry. That is a straight worry. Look, I've still got him in here at the meantime, but to know that he's struggling at the moment is bad news. That's very bad news. Look, I'll still keep him in here, but if he is as he is now, come round one, I don't know if I'll start him, because you don't want to have like a half decent injury to a ruckman. Like your R1. Let's be honest. So yeah, I'm going to keep my eye on him. I would suggest that you do as well. And Grundy, he appears to be doing everything perfectly. I haven't heard any fault about him thus far. I think he's a solid option. If you are going to downgrade one, downgrade Darcy, because Grundy's just doing everything perfectly. Very easily. You can just comfortably just lock him in. Even if he becomes your R1, you downgrade Darcy to a Big O or a Marshall or whatever. Grundy's just perfect. And Sam Hayes, he appears to be a starting R3 at this current stage. He seems to be doing everything well. And yeah, I mean, there's no injury problems as far as I'm aware of. So yeah, lock at the moment. If not, it was going to be him or Charlie Coombin from North as that playing R3. But I will be having a playing R3, definitely, easily, no doubt about it. Yeah, for the forwards, there's been some changes, as you can see. I got Josh Dunkley here. He's the same. He's a lock. He's been training. Saw a little photo of him. Does not have strapping on that shoulder, which is fantastic news. So yeah, lock 100%. He should be in. I want to say at least 65% of teams, because just with what we've got currently, it's a bit fucking. Yeah, look, it's a bit iffy. But yeah, look, I got Mitch Duncan as my F2. I scrapped Butters because of a few reasons. One, because Dixon and Fantasia have gone down. I know one of them's required surgery, the other has not. Sorry, the other might not be. I could be wrong. But they're going to be out for a while, and Rosie might just stay a forward for the majority of it, because Conor Rosie, he's been training in the midfield, which I found out a couple of days ago. So I was like, does Rosie take away his mid time? And it's like, look, it is risky picking him. I think now it's not that safe option that I think people, including myself, once thought. So I thought, well, I had a look at the forward line, and I was like, well, who can comfortably give you 110 if they play a full game of footy each and every week? Josh Dunkley, Mitch Duncan, potentially, what's that Giants player? I completely forgot his name, but yeah, Taranto, that's the one. Yeah, Taranto maybe, if he gets that mid-time. Other than that, it's a bit iffy. It's like you could go, a healthy Heaney could give you 110, maybe. And then what? You got Tim Taranto, I don't know if he can give you 110. Zach Bailey's been training in the midfield, I think, apparently. I don't think he can give you 110, so I thought with these extra trades that we're getting, just in case you run away, everyone gets 35 trades. Why not start with the most potent forward in Mitch Duncan? Like, I think it was like the top scoring player, or at least forward, for the last, 10 weeks from last season. Surely you just start him, and look, if he shits the bed, he shits the bed, so be it. You just cop it, you just downgrade him to whoever's playing well. But I think it's definitely worth a risk now if he does line up round one. Because you know what he can do, and yeah, look, it's just one trade, just downgrade it easy. We got Cogs. I've heard no more news than before. He's at 100% and he is training fully. But I've heard barely anything out of the Giants camp, so I'd still just log him in at the meantime. I think it's Conor West. Yeah, Conor West. He's a new guy who has been training in the midfield at West Coast. I think they had a match sim or something similar to that, and he was just in the middle the whole time, which is fantastic for a 250k rookie. Well, not rookie, 250k mid pricer. Look, if it ends up being he doesn't start, because I think I think it's Elliot Yeo or Luke Shuey. I think one of them went down, and West has just soaked it up, and he's just enjoyed it. I think he's another great mid-pricer that you can add to your side that plays midfield. It is a risk, of course. I'll have to monitor this very deeply, but just based on the current information that we've received the last couple of days, he appears to be that lock, which is absolutely fantastic, which is, another mid-pricer for the forward line that's playing in a different role other than forward. So, yeah, he's inside at the moment. Next is Kerno. I've got a few Blues mates who actually went down to their training session. Can't remember when, but they went down there, and they said that Kerno was a standout. He was actually an imposing figure there when he alongside Crisp and Walsh, and it was tough to take their eyes off of him. So it's like 2-2-4. I'm more than happy to find out whether or not he stays there. But everything that I thought he could be was backed up by my mate saying that, he was that person, so it's fantastic. Next up, Elijah Hollands. I've heard absolutely nothing from the Gold Coast camp, but I assume that he's training properly, like fully, or else we would have heard, he's gone down or whatever, but no. So he appears to be training, seems free. I'd get him in there even if it's just a placeholder at the meantime, which is fine. We'll move on. Got Skinner. I think he should. I don't know who's more likely out of Josh Sin and Sam Skinner to play at the moment. I haven't heard overly much, but they both seem like half decent chances, which is good. And I think it's Charlie Parker, close. It's just that what's called Adam Scott of last year, the 102k, playing. Well, I don't think we had him in the midfield, but got him as a forward. I'm just going off what other people think of him at the moment. That's not my own choice, and I should be thinking of that choice, but look, I'm more than happy to just grab any 102k playing player at the moment. So yeah, that's the team at the moment. I want to say maybe mid-Feb. Yeah, mid to late Feb, I'll have another video out, and I'll have my first league. If those who would like to join, I'll get it just now. Actually, I'll show you the rules. The Crispy Coaches League settings. So if you are obviously one of the 20 players or 20 teams in the team, it's fine. We start round 1. Final series is top 8, 9 to 16th. We skip the buys because fuck the buys. Buys are shit. It should just be 1 week. Everyone just has a bye week off and then we just get back to normal. But AFL's in charge are full of dickheads, but that's fine. And it's based off of total points, not percentage. Percentage in Supercoach is a bit, I think, stupid, but look, I'm happy with total points. If you're happy with all of those league rules and it is something that you would like to join, actually, I think, did I stuff that up there? Yeah, alright, you can actually see the invite code. Well, if you've actually caught on to it and you would like to join, more than happy to. Only thing that I ask in return is that you stick it out, even if your team's the absolute dogs. If you're ranked 200,000, just please just stay in the league. Don't, bot it up. But other than that, yeah, everybody's welcome. More than happy to have anyone involved who's actually watching my videos, even though they aren't the most enthusiastic or most out there videos. They're, I want to say, consistent for this season, first season. So yeah, thank you for watching, and yeah, have a nice day.